Night against Mike Tyson. Now, the atmosphere, one would imagine, is starting to build up. It's mid-afternoon now in Las Vegas.
So, a big test here for Robin Reid and the white trunks, the Olympic light middleweight bronze medalist in Barcelona, here fighting at super middle. Unbeaten so far, 17 wins, just one draw, up against Andy Flute, who's fought for the British title unsuccessfully against Neville Brown a couple of years ago, but still has plenty of ambition. Andy Flute from Cosley in the Black Country. This has all the makings of a very tough fight indeed for Robin Reid.
I've wanted Reid in against slightly better opposition for quite some time, so this is certainly the case tonight. Flute, an excellent opponent, and it'll give us a good idea just what kind of potential Reid has. I'm going to have to be careful with heads here. I mean, that's the fight's only a minute old, and already the heads are just almost clashed 3 times there. Maybe it's just because both of them are a little bit over anxious in the first minute here. But Reid is certainly going to have to be careful. So Reid doesn't really want to be drawn into a brawl here in the early stages. A fight that you think is going to be tough, it's nice if you can just steal a couple of rounds early in the bank before you get right down to the nitty-gritty. You don't want to trade straight away, maybe run out of steam a little bit, and it ends up a real slog in the later stages.
Yes, he seems to be settling down now after a very aggressive start.
Yeah, I think they were both just a little bit over anxious in the first minute there. But Reid, he doesn't really want to get involved with this fellow just too early. If he could nick a couple of rounds, as I say, using the jab, just without getting too involved, it would give him that little bit of confidence. This is going to be a hard fight for him, I reckon, so don't go and make it any harder.
Still looking to land with that right cross, though.
I mean, Reid is certainly the more cultured of the two, so if he could maybe pick up some points with the jab there, just as he's doing now, just give himself a little bit of room, don't get too involved too early.
Reid's round, only blemish so far, the draw in the 6th rounder against the Irish-based Ghanaian Danny Juma. That was in December '93. They had a return last November, and he beat Juma on points over 8, but it was pretty close. Both fights were close. A lot of people thought he lost both of them.
See, I think his problem is certainly in the second Juma fight, he was too intent in trying to force a stoppage. I think he was upset about the drawn verdict before. He tried to force a stoppage. He made an awful lot of mistakes, and he gave himself a real hard night. Part of boxing is learning how to make a round easy now and again, just to get your thoughts together. Can't be too intent in scoring knockouts all the time.
Corners 10 seconds. Seconds out. Round 2.
Robin Reid in his second fight at super middle. His first fight at super middle, he stopped Stinger Mason in 2 in Brighton. But Andy Flute's a step up in class.
Yeah, I would this to be the toughest match that Reid has had in his career. I know he made the Juma fights tough, but I think that was his own fault. But this on paper looks like a real test for him.
Good left.
That was lovely work from Reid. That was real good professional stuff there. suddenly Flute, who was looking confident behind his own jab, has been backed off now.
Reid's catching him with the left jab and the left hook. He seems a little less right-hand happy now.
Well, I like the way Reid turned the action around there. I mean, he took a couple of solid jabs from Flute. Flute was looking confident, but he let go with a burst of 3 or 4 punches and turned the whole fight around there. I think Flute was shaking a little bit with those punches. He's trying to spoil a little bit in close. I think he's just trying to buy some time here. So if Reid can just step back, give himself some punching room, he could maybe force a stoppage. Yep, see, Flute is definitely hurt here.
Beautiful left cross from Robin Reid, and he's looking very dangerous indeed.
This is where Reid, he needs to step back, give himself some punching room. Flute looked as though he was stunned from that first attack. He hadn't recovered from it. And now he really looks in serious trouble. His legs, I mean, it's only the second round. There shouldn't be signs of tiredness, but his legs are looking groggy. He hasn't thrown the effects of that punch yet. Still very shaky.
Good work inside too from Reid.
Well, Flute's experience have got him this far because he was in serious trouble there. I don't think Robin Reid realised just how serious the trouble he had Flute in.
Again, a good left, and Flute beginning to hang on now as we come towards the end of the second round.
Flute's legs have never recovered from that initial attack.
That's a tough round for Andy Flute, managed by his father Colin, former professional heavyweight, and his uncle Colin, and his father Alan is in the corner as well. So 18 wins of his 25 fights, last time outbeaten by Mark Delaney, unanimous 12-round decision. That was for the WBO Intercontinental title, and here's the action that he was really in trouble with in the second.
Very impressive round from Robin Reid then. Now that left hook, look at the legs. And that was actually a follow-on from one of the earlier attacks. Flute never really recovered from the first burst of punches. His legs didn't regain their strength.
Seconds out. Round 3.
And Robin Reid build on that. Strong end to the second round.
I don't think that second round will have done Reid's confidence any harm. Very impressive work. He's still looking very solid here now, starting the fight.
Although he had a very successful amateur career, Olympic bronze medalist, I think much better than that. He never won an ABA title. He was robbed by a bad decision by the London champion Tim Taylor in the quarter-final. Never went in for it after that.
Well, Flute seems to have thrown the effects. It took him quite some time to throw the effects of that attack, but he looks a little bit healthier now. So Reid is going to have to start again, just get behind the jab again, force some openings.
Right, go.
Reid a little bit ragged now. it was so impressive in the second round that he's going to have to realise he's going to have to start again. This fellow's not one punch away from being stopped here, so he's going to have to start again, get behind the jab, get some openings behind the jab.
Yes, he's not been hurt, but he's taken quite a few.
Just a little bit sloppy now in comparison to the second round. I mean, it really looked total class in the second round, but just a little bit sloppy now. That was a decent left hook, having said that. He just has to tighten up and just start the job all over again.
Right, right.
Bruising coming up under the left eye of Andy Flute. Nothing serious at the moment, but his mouth's beginning to swell there.
Just while we wait for the next round in Glasgow, let's just take a little look inside the MGM Grand Garden in Las Vegas, where Frank Bruno will tonight defend his WBC World Heavyweight title. They're putting the final touches to the preparations inside this spectacular arena. It seats more than 16,000 people. Every seat has been sold, they tell us. The Nevada State Athletic Commission officials are all there. And there's Mills Lane, who will be the big fight referee tonight in his 87th world title fight. Well, Mills, if you can't get it right, nobody can. See you later. Back to Glasgow, and let's rejoin Simon Reid and Jim Watt.
And Andy Flute still very much in this.
10 seconds.
Much better round for him in the third.
Seconds out. Round 4.
So Robin Reid winning the fight at the moment, but the command he had in the second wasn't there in the third.
Right, go. Right, right.
Yep, Flute knows he's the one who has to show some improvement. He's trying to do that here at the start of the fourth. He's got himself back together now.
And he is landing.
Yep, and again at the start of the round, Reid just being casual.
Picked off by that jab.
Yep. He's maybe going to have to show it. He's been showing a nice little feint, drawing the jab and then countering. But just at the start of the fourth here, he's walking straight onto it, allowing Flute to get his punches off first.
Ready, come back.
Good right hand. Two good punches, but Reid's still a little bit ragged, a little bit wild.
Flute's beginning to fancy it more and more.
Yep, and Reid is forcing good work out of Flute, and Flute's coming back with it. But he wants to use his boxing ability a little bit more. He's just getting too involved here.
Again, looking to land that big right hand, perhaps too often.
Yep, whereas he's just been moving in behind the jab, making some openings, just using his boxing ability, but he seems to want to stand and trade with Flute, and that at the moment is suiting Flute.
Right.
As I said earlier, this was always going to be a hard night's work for Reid, but don't make it any harder. Complaining about low blow there.
Yes, it hurt him. He'll be given some time here. Arnold Bryson making absolutely sure he's all right. But the momentum he has built up has now been destroyed. Flute is not second best at the moment.
No, that's the mark of a decent fighter. And Flute has come back and shown he was in serious trouble in the second round. He was still a little bit shaky in the following round, but now he's got his act together. And he's really giving Reid some problems here.
Flute, a young England international, but didn't wait around to chase the senior international honours. He turned pro 2 months after his 19th birthday. Lost 2 early fights on cuts. Dropped a dodgy decision perhaps to Paul Burt. And then started on a winning sequence, which took him all the way to a title shot against Neville Brown, which he lost on cuts. But he's showing strong tenacity here. And the lump, as you can see, beginning to swell nastily, but it's no problem at the moment.
Corners 10 seconds. Seconds out. To the right. Round 5.
Into the second half of the fight. An intriguing one it is too. Robin Reid, Olympic bronze medalist in the white trunks, in front, but Andy Flute staying with him.
Flute at the beginning of the round here is matching Reid's jab.
And he's not taking a backward step.
No, Reid, his head's a little bit stationary in this round. He's not moving his head. He's trading jabs, but not thinking about the jab coming back. Just a little bit sloppy here. But Flute, not an easy man to face.
Again, getting caught by the left jab. It's all looking a little bit messy for Reid at the moment.
Well, as we said earlier, this was never going to be an easy night's work. This is the test for Reid. I think this is the fight that's going to let us know, is he ready to move further, or maybe some more work needed in the gym. This is better. He's pulling back from Flute's jabs now. He's not standing right in front of him. He's a little bit more head movement now in the second half of the round. This is far better from Reid. See, a little feint there trying to draw the lead. A little bit more thought in what Reid's doing now.
Some good jabs of his own. The eye beginning to swell even more for Andy Flute.
See, Flute is not doing anything clever. He's just standing there, pushing out the jab, so Reid really should be able to solve this stage of the fight. He should be able to come back with something better. See, that's better now. He's moving his head a bit more. He's not taking Flute's jab as he was in the first half minute. A little bit more imagination in what Reid's doing now.
Right cross that did land.
Yeah, this is quality work now from Reid. This is far better than what we saw in the first minute or so.
Much better round for Robin Reid. Yes, he was mixing it up well then, jabbing and then the crosses afterwards.
Yeah, there was a lack of thought in the first minute or so in what he was doing. He was just standing in front of Flute, trading jabs, and he wasn't coming off top. But as the round progressed, a little bit more thought, a little bit feint here, moving his head a bit more, coming back with nice punches, nice combinations. So the second half of the round, he turned it around. See, then moving his head a little bit more, switching, following the jab with some hooks, finished the round well. See, that was a good left hook. Certainly all the way through, Reid's punching has been better, but now and again just has to think a little bit more.
Corners 10 seconds. Seconds out. Round 6.
3 to go. I've got Robin Reid 2 rounds in front.
Reid just wants to let Flute have this little burst at the start of the round. And Flute comes out fairly lively, so don't trade with him, don't use up steam for no reason. Give Flute a little burst for the first 20 seconds or so, then get the defence nice and compact and start trying to push him back.
Good left jab from Flute.
See, all of Reid's problems occur in the first minute of the round, so he should be showing a little bit more care, just defensively. Then as the round progresses, Flute, his work rate drops a little bit, then Reid can take over.
Because every time Reid comes out full of aggression, doesn't he, and forgets what he's got into that position with, which is the left jab.
Yeah, and he's trading with the best. The best work that Flute produces is normally in the first minute of the round, so Reid is trading with that, rather than trying to nullify it for a minute or so, then pick up the points to win the round. But it's easy sitting here as opposed to... This is never going to be an easy night for Reid, no matter how he went about the job. And so far, he's coped with it very well.
Right, back. Go.
Good work from Flute. He's caught him just a bit too much in my life.
Yeah, but too often Reid has just been forgetting about his defence. His chin has been too stationary. But he wants to try and back this fellow up. And when you allow Flute to come forward, he's a real handful. If Reid can back him up, I mean, he's the young fellow we're expecting big things from. So this is where he has to show us what he can do and get control of this.
Andy Flute just as rugged and durable as we thought he might be.
Yeah, well, Flute didn't have too much success in the previous round. Oh, that's a good right hand.
And Flute staggered for the first time in the fight.
See, the quality punching coming from Reid. But just, sometimes he just gets a little bit careless, a little bit sloppy.
Now, is Reid going to take advantage here? No time. See, leading in the ropes there, the former European light welterweight champion, Pat Barrett. So he's not short of good advice. And some excellent work from Reid towards the end of that round.
Yeah, just a little bit too close to the end of the round. I mean, in the previous round, he started this work in the second minute. That was a good finish to the round. If the referee was in two minds about which way to score that, it may just have slipped in his favour. But that was a tough round for Reid. That was a tough round. A lot of good work from Flute.
A big, big right hand, and he did well to hang on there. He was very nearly over.
Corners 10 seconds.
But he's been through the mill here.
Seconds out. Round 7.
Two to go. I've got Reid 3 in front. So Flute's got to look for a stoppage. Certainly managed to hit Reid, but Reid seems to have a very strong chin.
Seen some real classy work from Reid in this fight, but too often he seems to have let his concentration lapse a little bit, and he just stands in front of Flute as though he doesn't quite know what his next move should be. I mean, we're seeing the two extremes, some lovely work, and then just as you saw that there, taking a jab full in the face with no answer.
Yes, he's not been able to consistently boss the fight, which surely would have been his objective.
That's been his problem, that too often, see there again, he's been picked off with jabs here. And by this time, you really expect him to be producing his best work. I mean, I'll say again, we knew Flute was a tough opponent. It was never going to be an easy fight for Reid. But too often, he's not put enough thought into what he's doing. He's just stood in front of Flute and traded with him. That was what you want to see, a little feint, force Flute into making a mistake. That's far better. This is what I mean, sometimes he shows real imagination, then he just seems to lapse into that kind of lack of concentration again. Defences are a little bit loose at the moment.
Oh, good punch. Terrific punch. Right through the middle. And once again, Flute's wobbling for the third time in the fight. The last round was the biggest. And he's got a bit more time here. Just under a minute left.
This is an impressive attack from Reid. This is good stuff. Showing patience, picking the shots, nothing wild. Everything planned, every move planned here. This could be the end here. Yep, the referee stepped in, yep.
Yes, Arnold Bryson's seen enough, and he's dead right. Andy Flute's legs were playing tricks on him. And that's a very impressive finish to Robin Reid. We've been on to him a little bit about his lack of concentration, but my word, he finished it well.
That was a tremendous finish from Reid. I mean, he'd shaken his opponent, a very experienced, durable opponent, but he didn't panic. He picked every punch, so precise and so powerful, full power into every shot, and the referee did exactly the right thing.
Yes, full marks for Arnold Bryson. He spotted it early, didn't hang about.
Yep, Flute was not coming back with anything positive. You can see his legs. Flute's been very tired for the last couple of rounds, and at this stage, Reid was looking for the target, not in any hurry. See, there's he's thinking about the punch, changing his mind, just waiting till the time was right. And Flute had nothing else to offer, but these punches really were well delivered, precise shots. A perfect finish to a very difficult night's work. Forcing a stoppage against Andy Flute is an excellent performance for Robin Reid.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 2 minutes 28 seconds of the 7th round, the referee has stopped the contest with Andy Flute in no position to continue. The winner, Robin Reid.
Well, he's racking up the victories, Robin Reid.